I know what it's like to feel embarrassed or stupid, and then to make yourself stop feeling, because that's the only way you know how to cope.
To spend ridiculous amounts of money on reading tutors and language therapy, and to never really see consistent progress.
People think I'm slow because I read slow.
I know what it's like to hear, "You're not trying hard enough." But that's not true. You're trying as hard as you possibly can.
To go home every night and struggle and fight with stuff that you learned that day, but it just does not make sense, and you have to either have your mother or a teacher help you with it.
I was really frustrated and angry a lot of times with the patterns in my life.
Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm Dr. Phyllis Books, and for the last 30 years, I've been helping people just like Beth Ann and Jonathan and Quinn, helping reverse conditions they were told they'd have to live with. Sometimes they were stuck in their brains, sometimes in their bodies, sometimes in their emotions, and sometimes all three. What these people had in common before we met was the sense of discouragement and frustration of trying over and over again to improve their lives and getting nowhere. I work with people to discover the reasons behind the roadblocks to their success. I developed Books Neurotherapy as a pathway to achieve true neural freedom. Books Neurotherapy stimulates specific areas of the brain with a gentle, light, physical, acupressure-like touch administered to different places on the head and the body. And this helps reorganize and synchronize the brain and the body. I've been able to help thousands of children and adults all over the world reverse their dyslexia and ADHD, improve their test scores, improve their SAT scores and get in better colleges, improve their job performance reviews, improve their physical capacities, and to live healthy, productive lives. No matter what the age or situation, what they overcame was a sense of defeat from hearing over and over again
that I wasn't respected ever.
I hadn't even learned it at all.
That I would not be able to make it in college.
You're going to be stuck with this forever.
It doesn't have to be that way. The treatment I've developed is called Books Neurotherapy. I use it to help people of all ages overcome and reverse dyslexia and other learning disorders without drugs. Books Neurotherapy is effective 80% of the time. I know this because each person who comes to me with a learning disorder is tested before we begin treatment and again after we conclude. My clients advance significantly in reading, spelling, math, physical coordination, and catch up with their classmates and colleagues. But even more important than their grades is their self-esteem, their self-control, and this general joie de vivre that comes from being in a body that's free. The brain is an amazing organ capable of innovation and discovery. Sometimes it's forced to work at less than optimal conditions, from anatomical or hereditary problems, such as the eyes being in slightly the wrong place, the eye muscles and the bones being just slightly off, or the palate, the roof of the mouth being slightly askew, or the mouth being out of round. These are all physical and anatomical reasons for issues with learning. Also, there can be trauma, or grief, or head injuries. All of these can compromise the brain's ability to actually function well and force the brain into survival, where learning is a luxury. But the brain can be reprogrammed to reverse these effects. The medical and educational community will tell you that dyslexia is permanent, but they're basing that on a definition drafted more than 100 years ago. The medical community believed that once your brain was finished developing, it was done and couldn't change. Today we know that's just not true. The brain can be taught to do new things, can be reprogrammed and rewired until the day we die. It's called neuroplasticity. Think about what's happening at Loomis Labs, the creator of Lumosity.com. More than 50 million people have used mental exercises to train core cognitive functions. Wouldn't that be great for anti-aging? It works because every time you try something new or do something in a different way, your brain experiences a shift in consciousness and it makes new connections. Every time you repeat these new behaviors, you reinforce the connections and you encourage your neurons to work together. There's a saying in the neuroscience world, neurons that fire together, wire together. You see, neurons are like nerve cells in your brain and they have the ability to transmit signals, much like the wires or gates in a computer. When a computer gets stuck, you can reboot it. When a brain gets stuck, you can in fact reboot it too. By changing the brain's neural patterns, you quite literally change the mind. When treatment is complete and clients have this new sense of normal, their spirits are free to soar.
My energetic field changed and really allowed me to emotionally change permanently, not just on a, oh, I feel good right now.
I was able to read a chapter in 30 minutes when normally I wouldn't even be able to make it through one without getting angry and stopping. And it's amazing.
After I see Dr. Books, I feel like I have the ability to truly think.
Just come home and not dread doing homework. I knew I could do it. It was easier for me. The reading was easier. The math was easier. Just every subject was easier. And my brain just functioned a whole lot better.
At 16, I couldn't even recite the months of the year. After my 5th session, though, she asked me to say the months of the year, and I was able to. It felt like this heavy jacket dropped away, and I was a lot more relaxed, and I could smile and laugh, and I wasn't so serious anymore.
Lives begin to change in ways they couldn't even imagine before. Even family dynamics change.
He didn't need help anymore, and that was amazing, simply amazing, because at that point you realize that they can make it as far as they want to go.
I've learned that to give hope, it takes looking at the problem in a new way, in a way the traditional world doesn't see. I'm offering that realistic hope. Watching people go from, I can't, and you can't make me, to, I can, hey, I really can. Going from not wanting to read a book to saying, well, can I read just a few more pages? I'm not finished yet, is a reality I want to make available to every child, and every adult, on every continent. Neural freedom is really about freeing the human spirit.
When Quinn finished Dr. Book's therapy, it was like opening the floodgates. Once one obstacle fell, then others followed one by one. It was like dominoes. And we came to this place of enormous relief. And one of my favorite parts of the therapy was every day after Quinn would get out of his session, he would get in the car and he would announce these new perspectives on his life, such as, Mom, I'm going to be more positive in my life. Or, Mom, I'm going to be not so grumpy in the mornings. I love that one. Or, Mom, I'm going to start taking more responsibility in my life. Wow, what every parent wants to hear.
It actually made a difference, which is the first time that had ever happened. Beth Ann was able to do things that she was never able to do before, and she was able to feel more confident, and I'm just so thankful.
After Dr. Books, he was able to present himself to me in a way that I understood he's here to focus on his artwork. He's here to focus on his music. He is accomplished in so many areas. He's come so far just after meeting Dr. Books. And, you know, if you want to talk about academics, he's 9th grade level, handling all of his homework, reading William Faulkner. He's doing it.
I'm just so thankful that we did it, because lots of times you hear about so many different things and you get to a point, I think, where you've tried everything and you just figure, you know, this is just it, we're just stuck with this, and I just had to believe that this was meant to happen and we were supposed to try it and we did and it worked, and I'm thrilled. And I'm not saying that it's 100%, you know, roses every day, but this was the breakthrough. This was where things started to move forward. And we still struggle sometimes, and we still have to work at it a little bit, but it's better, and we're making progress every day. And this was the impetus that got that going forward, and I'm so thankful.